everybody. Welcome to another episode of Crimes, Killers, Cults,
and Beer.
I'm Bill, and this is not my lovely co-host, Sandra.
No, not this time.
No. She gets a pass because I think she said that tonight was her anniversary.
Oh, well, happy anniversary to Sandra and her husband.
I think. I could be wrong. My brain's been in a mess lately. But I do have the lovely Texas Jessica of Texas True Crime.
That's right. Me. Hey, y'all.
So this is episode 154, and it's the heavily anticipated sequel to the Prison Tinder episode, which was number 69.
That seems very spot on.
That was intentional.
I kind of wondered.
Stories about people who fall in love with criminals in prison. Part one was freaking insane, and that had a lot to do with the fact that our guest Todd and my guest that we had on there was Natasha from Cryptids, Conspiracies, and Crimes, and she is a total nut. But
yes.
and plus Todd was trying to let me adopt her and bring her and make her part of CKCB.
I mean, I think she would fit, but she has a lot going on her own podcast. So,
oh yeah, her podcast is growing like a freaking weed.
Yeah,
I'm a little jealous. So, tell any of the our new listeners about your show, Jessica. It's been a hot minute since you've been on.
So, I am the host of the podcast Texas True Crime, and as it sounds like, it is a true crime podcast
about crimes in Oklahoma.
Yeah. Do you know what's crazy is when I was at the podcasters convention in New Mexico, I had people after I would say my podcast is a true crime podcast called Texas True Crime. They would say, "What's it about?" True crime in Texas. I actually had people ask, so I've gotten to where I explain it every time.
Well, honestly, I think that my podcast name, I think I sabotaged myself by having the and beer in there because, the podcast is kind of taking a more serious tone than it used to and everything. And it's like CrimeCon won't even look at me. And I think it's probably because of the name. But at this point, too, the show's too well known for me to rebrand.
Yeah.
So
come on. What about Wine and Crime and
or True Crime Kent? They had them out there.
Or
at CrimeCon.
There's even there's another Texas podcast, and it's Texas Wine and Crime, I think.
I hope I'm not messing it up.
Huh?
They have wine in Texas?
Yeah. So in the Hill Country, there's a lot of wineries. Yeah. They've found certain grapes that really do well in the Texas Hill Country. So there's actually lots of wineries in the Fredericksburg, in the Hill Country area. So, yeah.
Learn something new every day. Never would have figured.
I don't want to be disloyal to my home state. They're not usually my favorite, but it's a booming business, so somebody loves them.
Well, I don't like alligator tail.
There you go.
But, so, last Saturday, we're recording this on July 2nd. Last Saturday, by the way, this episode will be released either late tonight or sometime tomorrow. So It'll be out before the 4th of July. Nobody's going to watch your, the videos of your fireworks that you take with your phone. Nobody's going to do that.
No, nobody, no one wants to see those. Just
nobody.
No, I'm glad to know I'm not the only person that goes, I don't care that you posted your firework video to your Facebook or your Instagram or whatever. No, I agree.
Right.
I mean, I don't
something.
even like to watch fireworks on television when they're done professionally. You know what I mean?
No, I know. Same.
It just sort of leaves something to be desired.
Mm-hmm. And unless your fireworks pictures the actual pictures that you take, unless they look, I don't know, something like this, yeah, nobody wants to see them either.
No.
But if they look like that, then sure. But
Yeah.
That was taken by somebody who knows how to take pictures of fireworks.
Like the only firework picture I have ever posted, and it was a complete fluke that it turned out because I did take it with my iPhone, but my 2 girls and 2 of our nephews were standing at our ranch and shooting fireworks across our pond. And it was right at sunset, so you could see the fireworks, but see their silhouette. And I just took a picture. I was taking it because it was the 4 of them. They had happened to line up like shortest to tallest. And when I took it, you could actually see their silhouettes and the fireworks going across the pond. But it was a total fluke. Nice. It turned out great, but I don't know what I'm doing. That's the only firework picture I've ever posted because otherwise,
They just look like blobs. They just look like blobs.
Right. Like I said, otherwise they suck.
But I went to, last Saturday I went to Todd's celebration of life. And there were probably about 100 people there. And I know damn well that there's not going to be that many people showing up to pay their respects to me when I go. Well, part of that has to do with the fact that I've moved around so damn much in my life, but
I mean, that's amazing. That's a tribute to what a great guy Todd was.
Yep. But something else happened during that. I mean, the co-host that replaced Todd, Paul, we actually met for the first time in person. And I'm going to share that picture right here. Paul actually came out.
I still cannot believe that. I had no idea that y'all had never met in person.
And I'll tell you one thing, because the way that he came off on the podcast was kind of like quiet and introverted, maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
That's not how he is in person.
Really?
I was kind of concerned because of the fact that I would have been the only person there that he knew. Yeah. Well, let's just say by the end of the night, he knew everybody.
Everybody. Oh my gosh. That's awesome. Yes. Every time even when I'd sat in with you guys before, and then also listening to episodes with y'all together, he always seemed more reserved and kind of quiet. So another side of
Paul. He had flyers for his podcast. He had flyers for his podcast. He's passing them out to everybody. He's talking to everybody. And he's a super intelligent guy. I mean, and like one of my friends even came up to me. He's just like, dude, your friend over there, Paul, that guy's smart as shit.
Yeah, that comes across I'm listening to him for sure. And then I bet in person it's even more obvious.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, it turned out that I didn't have to worry about him. He was just fine on his own. But I got to point out something. If you look up to the C in my banner, the CR in my banner there, you'll see that is the genuine article. That is Todd's powder blue sippy cup that you had on multiple episodes with him. So I got it. So, a part of him is going to live on in every single episode that we do moving forward. So
that's fabulous.
Yeah. I was able to get that from his wife and his daughter. And by the way, I have a new daughter. I adopted Todd's daughter.
Oh, gotcha.
I told her as far as I was concerned, she was part of my family.
I think that's only fitting.
Yeah. And no, because that was the first time I had ever met her, surprisingly.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
She's like 30.
I remember you said that.
Yeah. So anyway, shout out to Amanda, and shout out to our listener who requested that I try to acquire Powder Blue. His name is Nicholas Andrew. He's an OG. So I told you I'd try, and there it is.
I love
And
it.
shout out to Todd's wife Rui as well. So yeah, it was Saturday night was one of the best nights that I've had in years.
Well, that's good. I'm glad it was such a good celebration and that everyone was able to get together.
Let's get started. And being the gentleman that I am, and just as it was in the first Printer episode, we're going to go with the ladies first stance.
All
So what do you got
right.
for us?
Okay, well, let's start with Luka Magnotta. Most of you,
That was episode 2. Damn, that was loud. Good God, that was loud. Was that loud on your end?
just don't, no, it was normal volume.
Okay. Okay. That was freaking loud on my end.
That's weird. Yeah, no, it's normal volume over here.
Okay.
So for anybody who is not familiar with Luka Magnotta, although if you're into true crime, I can't believe you wouldn't be, but just in case, Luka Magnotta is a Canadian. He's a former model. He was an aspiring model, porn star, just kind of
He was his own biggest fan.
100%. Yes. And even porn star aspiring. He wasn't a star of anything. He was a star in his own world.
Right.
And in his mama's world.
Yeah.
So, and there's a documentary about him on Netflix called Don't Fuck with Cats. So if you don't know anything about him, highly recommend it. But he is in prison now because he killed a man and videoed it and sent it to YouTube and ate him as well. So Luka joined a site in Canada that was supposed to be for inmates to connect with people on the outside. It was called Canadian Inmates Connect. And it was not meant for prisoners to hook up. It was established so that Canadian inmates could connect with people in the outside world.
So just for our purposes, let's call it Canadian Prison Tinder.
I mean, 100%. It's exactly what it is. It's exactly what it is. And I'm going to read y'all Luka's, his little blurb that he put up about himself. He said, "If you think you could be my Prince Charming, send me a detailed letter with at least 2 photos." He said he was looking for a single white male, someone who is loyal, preferably educated, financially and emotionally stable for a long-term committed relationship. So, because when you're in prison, you need to worry about financial stability when you're there for life.
Ramen noodles can get expensive when you're only making 23 cents an hour.
I was going to say, but I guess that way someone can put money in your fund so you can go to the canteen and buy cigs and ramen noodles. Yeah. Well, he didn't get someone from the outside world. He got the attention of another prisoner at a different prison in Canada, in New Brunswick. And his name is, where's his name? His name is Anthony Jolin. And they just hit it off immediately. And 1 month after he posted his ad, I guess you want to say, on Canadian Prison Tinder, Luka sent a letter to the founder, Melissa Fazina, and asked her to please take down his ad because he had found what he was looking for. He had found the love of his life. Now, not...
And love, true love.
Yes. Now, here's the deal, though. As much as Luka loves the spotlight and keeps trying to get himself back in the spotlight, his husband does not like the spotlight. So he's kind of a mystery man. All that anybody really knows about him is that, of course, he and Luka Magnotta got married on June 26th, 2017. And he had just a bunch of little crimes. He was one of those people that's been in trouble since their early teens, and it finally landed him in prison. But he's there for life because for some reason he had an altercation with another guy in prison and shanked him and killed him. So now he's stuck in New Brunswick. And he and Luka have never actually met in person. But, oh wait, I'm telling y'all a story. They did not meet in person before they married. Once they married, they got to have a ceremony. Luka's mother came and
Of course she did.
Of course she did, gave her son away and was their witness. And now they get to have trailer visits.
Alrighty then.
I could not find any article that said what a trailer visit was, but I think we can all use our imaginations to figure that one out.
Well, yeah, I mean, we all know Luka is devastatingly good looking.
Oh, yes. Yes. I mean, he was a model after all,
I'm a model. I'm devastatingly good looking.
Yes.
Oh man. I wish I still had the ad that I made about that episode like way early on. Although it might be too cringe to play now.
But Luka's former girlfriend, adult film actor Barbie Swallows. So she does. Yes, you heard that right, folks. Barbie Swallows. That
now,
is her name.
was this the trans woman?
You know what? It did not say, but she said that she does not believe that Luka is actually gay. This is another publicity stunt to keep his name out there. So I'm wondering if I don't think she is. Because it did not say she was a trans performer. And since she's convinced he's not gay, I'm thinking she must not be trans.
Well, that was, I mean, yeah, I do remember that he was with a trans woman during his time on the outside before he went down. But
yes.
Before he went down.
Well, that's one way to put it.
No, but I think that if it was the same person, it would have specified in your information there. It would have been specified.
And that's what I think too. Yeah. Well, but she's convinced that this is just another publicity stunt. But they're still married as of right now. But I mean, I guess you can't fight much when you don't actually aren't even in the same prison. And I mean, I guess it's exciting to get a trailer visit however often you get to do that.
Yeah.
Here in the States, conjugal visits aren't allowed. So,
well, they are. I think. Well, I'll cover that later on in one of the stories that I have.
Well, let me say, if you're on death row, conjugal visits aren't allowed.
Right.
So,
but I think there's a little more to it than that, which, like I said, I'll cover in one of the stories.
Oh, my poor pitiful dog! She's whining. She wants out of her kennel.
Well, you can bring her on as a co-host if you want.
I'll get him out. We'll see. If not, I'll go put him back up.
Oh, look at that puppy.
Yeah, this is Leia. Angus is laying down on the floor down here. But she wants to be a lap dog. She's really too big to be a lap dog, but she wants to be a lap dog.
Who's a good boy? I know it's a girl, but still, whenever I say it's got to be who's a good boy.
Well, I get it. I do. Angus is a male.
It rolls off the tongue better.
Well, I was going to say, cats are always female, dogs are always male. I don't know why, but
unless you're calling the dog a bitch.
Yeah, exactly. And Angus is a boy, so but he's the one that's being good and laying on the floor. So,
yeah. My first one is Afton Burton. Do you know who she is?
I don't think so.
She is widely known as Star.
Okay.
She was born in Bunker Hill, Illinois, in either 1988 or 1989. And that's according to several, I guess they couldn't agree on the year she was born.
Right.
She later moved with her parents to the town of Alton, Illinois. And, it's a kind of a decent sized small city along the Mississippi River, about 30 minutes from Bunker Hill. And she became widely known in 2014 when photographs of her began to circulate around the internet, where she would be cuddled and appearing to be in love with, take a guess who?
Okay. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm drawing a blank. In Illinois?
Yeah, but this person is not in Illinois. This person was in California.
Oh, is this the woman who tried to marry Charles Manson before he died?
Yep.
Okay, and he was 83 and she was
26.
Yes. Okay, I was going to say a child. Yes.
All right,
okay.
You got it. You got it.
Okay.
You got it.
Okay. Yes, I do. I was reading about her the other night and I was like, oh my gosh. I mean, Charlie didn't age well.
Charlie didn't. Star did.
I mean,
she was gorgeous. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah. Well.
But then again, if I'm 83 years old and a gorgeous woman like that that's in her 20s starts hitting on me, I'm gonna suspect there's something to it. She wants something from me, and it ain't that.
No. No.
But the stories began to leak saying that the two were planning to be married and that they already had an official marriage certificate. And there was a huge media frenzy. And most people couldn't understand how a young, beautiful woman would fall in love with a man deemed to be a mass murderer, even though he technically was not.
True, but
that we know of.
Okay, true, but scary as hell, and definitely has the crazy eyes. Besides the swastika in the middle of his forehead,
Another perfect pairing in the Mindhunter series for as far as casting for the actor.
Oh yes, the guy who played Manson and then the guy who played Ed Kemper were, spot on.
So is Jerry Brudos. So is Berkowitz. BCK.
It really was. They did.
They did their freaking homework on that, and
they did.
There's rumors that it's coming back. I freaking hope so because I want to see. I want them to devote an entire season to BTK.
And I felt like they were dropping breadcrumbs all along the way anyway.
One thing that I liked about how they did, it's like when Catherine Bright's brother was being interviewed in the back of when he was sitting in the back seat of the truck, not wanting Tench to make eye contact with him because his face had been shot in the face twice. Tench says, "There's no way this guy's a Christian."
Yeah. Yeah.
But that did happen. John Douglas even said that he probably wasn't a man of God.
Right.
But he was.
But he was.
on paper.
Well, on paper. Well, his version, but yeah. Well, yeah. I'm not going to get excited, but I would love it if the show came back. Because also they left us on a cliffhanger.
They left us. I can't remember where they left us. It's been a while since I've seen this, but I do know.
Remember
it was cliffhanger.
Not Tench, but what's the other guy?
I can't remember. Yeah, Holden, the guy who was supposed to be representing John Douglas. Yes.
He has an anxiety attack and collapses in the hallway.
That's right.
And we don't know because fade to black, and then there was no more episodes. So they owe us.
The female character that was with that pair, I remember being pissed off when I was watching it because she used to be powerful, and then it's reducing. In season 1, she was powerful, but in season 2, she was reduced to the sniveling, whining little lovesick puppy. But I rewatched it. I don't know. I remembered that wrong because that's not how she was. And at the end, she tells that woman that she's with to fuck off.
Yeah. Yes. Well, but I feel like she had been so take charge, and then she did kind of. I think we were all surprised to see that in a way she sort of took a back seat to her partner, and then though she like gets herself back and she's like,
Yeah.
I'm done with this.
So I'm okay with it now after a rewatch. But at first I hated it. It's just like, really? You did this to one of the best characters in season 1, and now you've got her a lovesick teenager?
I know. But she did. She redeems herself. But I think that was part of it, was we were all like, what is going on with her? She's so confident and sure of herself, and now she's letting this woman
walk all over her, basically.
Yeah.
But but it was better the second time around that I watched it. So
I need to rewatch it because it's been, golly, I don't know, years since I watched it. But it was such a good show, so I need to rewatch it.
But this all began when Afton was 16, and she was reading about Manson, and she was reading about him in a philosophy called ATWA, meaning air, trees, water, and animals, and which Manson and his followers believe represents all life on Earth and all humans' quest to live in the balance at the planet's life support system, whatever that means.
Right.
Starr was intrigued by this belief and began to write to Manson. I don't think that she was intrigued by that. I think she was intrigued by the dollar signs.
Oh, sure. 100%. She's young. She's pretty. Maybe she can work this to her advantage.
Yeah. So when she was 19, she moved from her hometown in Illinois to Cochran, California, so that she could live near the state prison where Manson was confined to in real life. I believe that was Vacaville, which is where Kemper is now. I believe it was.
I think so. That sounds right.
I haven't covered Kemper yet. I was waiting. I might as well spill the beans because it's not going to happen. I was wanting to wait until I did a different episode. I wanted to cover Herbert Mullen, but I wanted to have Ed Kemper on to run commentary. And I tried. I was in contact with people. I was bugging the crap out of Vacaville, trying to get him. But Ed Kemper won't be with us much longer. He's in very bad health. But how incredible would that have been to hear Ed Kemper talk about Herbert Mullen?
I mean, that would have been phenomenal.
Mm-hmm. I may try one more time.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, maybe since his health is failing, maybe he's like, hey, why not? I'm going to do it. You never know.
Yeah, it's like, ask him.
Right.
Just ask him. I'll send an email with my proposal, print it out, and give it to him.
Yeah. Maybe you should write him a letter.
Well, it would just go in the pile with all the others. He's not reading stuff.
True.
But he loves to talk, and for once, I'm sure he would absolutely love the chance to talk about somebody other than him.
Well, yes. And I was going to say, and he talk about someone else who's very smart.
Yeah, but he hated Herbert Mullen too.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's what I mean. On top of it, likes to talk, and then he would really love to wax poetic about Herbert Mullen.
I owe it to Todd to try because I came up with that episode I came up with that idea like really early on, and we agreed that I'd wait till we had 50 episodes before I made the the request, and then for about a year straight, I was contacting them about once or twice a month. Like, look,
that's pretty encouraging.
That would have been an incredible episode, and it would have shot this podcast up right up to the top.
Oh, for sure. Definitely.
I'm going to be really pissed if somebody else manages to get him.
I was going to say, you might not edit that part out.
I'm persistent. If anybody's going to get him, it's going to be me.
There you go.
I've been able to get people, and it was like that with my old radio show too. I've been able to get people, like I've had a lot of people, like how the hell, like Wix, for example. He was hard to get, but I got him.
Yeah.
And then sometimes, like a lot of cases with this show, as opposed to my old radio show where I'd have to go out and get every big name guest that we had. This show, the big names, they reach out to me, like Bryce Wardrop, for example.
Yeah, that was so fun.
Yeah, it was.
He's such a cool guy.
Yeah. Have you stayed in contact with him?
No, I wish I had done better about that because he was such a cool guy, and his wife seemed so nice too.
Yeah, y'all could have gone on a double date.
Yeah.
But anyway, hashtag but I digress.
That's right.
But she would speak with Manson every day by telephone and visit him on most weekends, although a sentence of life, conjugal visits weren't an option, even if the two were married. Mm-hmm. However, it's my understanding that if they were married prior to, a life sentence could get conjugal visits, but if you got married after the fact, you didn't get them.
Right. And that's kind of what everything I've read as well. If you're either death row or your life, then you don't get conjugal.
But,
okay. I'm thinking about this. We were talking about the conjugal visits and how Manson and Starr couldn't have conjugal visits. Don't you know, she probably looked into that first and she was like, whoo, have to sleep with the 83-year-old crazy man.
that's staying in. I'm not editing that out. I'm only saying that because we were kind of on a digression that was going to get cut out anyway. So,
gotcha. I mean,
that's staying in. That's because that's a great point.
She's like, I can talk on the phone, but I don't have to actually get naked with the old guy.
Critics believe that Starr was being manipulated by Manson, similar to how his female co-conspirators followed every word of his beliefs in 1969. That would be the first Prison Tinder episode.
Correct. Like I said.
But when Manson was put into solitary confinement, Starr shaved her head and put an X on her forehead, which was basically she was just parroting what the Manson girls and the family did during his trial in 1971.
Yes.
Sexy
Sadie also had a Prison Tinder hookup as well.
Did she?
Yeah, I stumbled across that when I was looking up info. So, all
right, you just I don't know if you have it, like ready or anything, but just if you don't, just say what you remember.
So yeah, I didn't say I was going to bring it on, but yeah, she got married, and then she divorced him when she got tired of him. So there you
go. When Manson was put into solitary confinement, something made, that was something that made speaking and visiting with him impossible, and the relationship became strange, and the marriage certificate expired, and the two of them lost touch.
Oh wow!
But there's no visitation or phone calls allowed when somebody's in solitary.
Sometimes people just go their separate ways.
Someday love will find you.
That's right.
Break those chains that bind you.
That's right.
One night will remind you how we touched and went our separate ways.
Sometimes you just grow apart.
One love feeds the fire. Wonder who's crying now. All right. I'm done bringing Journey into this. Although there's no way a Prison Tinder relationship can be done faithfully.
There you go. Well,
I can keep going.
I mean,
it's just like even if you get married after being on Prison Tinder, if you get married, there's going to be no loving, touching, or squeezing.
That's right. That's right. Who knew?
And you'll never get to hold him with open arms.
Who knew? Who knew?
You want me to stop? Because I can keep going.
I just never thought of Journey as lending itself to Prison Tinder so well. That's funny. That's funny.
When one Prison Tinder relationship ends, it typically ends with the person in prison telling the other person to be good to yourself.
And there you go. And then you go your separate ways.
We're right back to the
full circle.
Full circle. Oh God, that was great. I'm sure I could have come up with 3 or 4 more too. But
I mean, that's funny.
Although most of a lot of these people who are in prison, their spree probably began with a highway run into the midnight sun.
Oh, very likely. Very likely. Yes.
All right, I'll stop. People are clicking the X on the episode.
Yeah, they're like, we're done. We're done. We're tired of the music references. This is a true crime podcast, not a music podcast.
You might say that we just went in a full circle like a wheel in the sky.
It keeps on turning.
All right, I'm done. I promise. Oh damn. Oh no, I won't.
Okay. All right. So back to Star. They drifted apart and went.
And now she's not here by his side. God damn it. You set me up for that when I had to deliver.
Okay, fair.
Oh God.
Fair.
Later, it was discovered that many believed the true intent of his girlfriend and fiance Star was to benefit from his estate and belongings when he passed.
I mean,
which, duh.
Yeah, come on. I mean, why else would a young, beautiful woman want to hitch her wagon to that Star? Mm.
Yeah, I mean, she really was. I mean, she was very beautiful. I mean, yeah. I'm not even gonna lie. I thought she was gorgeous, but it was all based on her receiving the rights to his body so she could put it on display with and charge eerie visitors to come see it. True crime fans that might listen to true crime podcasts. I don't know.
Yeah. Wow. I guess, I would say that's so disrespectful, but it's Manson. I mean, are we really going to worry about being respectful? I'm not. Exactly.
The New York Post actually ran a story called "Charles Manson's Fiancée Wanted to Marry Him for His Corpse."
I like that.
Yeah. Is the New York Post, is that a tabloid rag, or is that a legit newspaper? I don't know.
I'm not sure either. I know,
because that sounds like a tabloid headline.
It does. Or is the Post kind of one that sort of like rides the middle where they're legit, but they like to push the boundaries, I don't know. Yeah,
could be. But that sounds like it. Yeah. I think the Post is the more not satire, but the more like tabloid type thing, but more serious than, say, National Enquirer.
I think so too.
Or whatever,
because I will say this, every time I research an episode, the Post always comes up. And their info always checks out with everyone else. So, I mean, they do report accurately. I can say that,
But this is also 2015. That's definitely a clickbait headline.
Oh, for sure. I mean, yeah. But, I mean, and I guess if you're going to date Manson or marry Manson, you might as well get something out of it. I mean,
Yeah.
you know.
But Star remains fond of Manson even after his death. And she's like, our relationship was all based on mutual respect, true feelings, and attachment.
Oh, I'm sure. Because Charlie respected people. That was what he's known for.
Oh, yeah. That was, yeah. She knew exactly what she was doing. She just wanted the money. And fortunately for all of us, Manson told her to pound sand. And he also said when asked about Starr taking his body on tour for profit when he died, Charlie says, sucks for her. I ain't never going to die. And that didn't age well.
No, but he probably...
like him.
Yeah, exactly. And he's so crazy. He probably thought he was going to live forever.
I'll be able to put a noise gate on you to edit the dog barking.
Oh, yeah. He wants in, he wants out. He's being a pain in the butt tonight.
You got to let me back in, Mom. You got to let me back in. Why? Because I want to go back out again.
Exactly. That's exactly what's going to happen. So I'm not letting him back in because then he'll just want out again. So he's just going to have to stay where he is.
But despite being dumped by Manson, Starr to this day claims that she is his wife. But that didn't stop her from banging one of Manson's friends, a guy named Grey Wolf, who was on the outside while Charles was in prison.
Oh. So if you can't have Charlie, you'll just have the next
Grey Wolf.
Grey Wolf, the next best thing, or what? Like, ugh.
I don't know if Grey Wolf was I don't know if he was Native American or whether he was just a hippie or whatever, but I'm picturing a guy that's somewhat younger than Manson, but older than her.
Right. That's what I was guessing. Some in between, but yeah, still old enough probably to be her grandfather, but not as old as Manson.
Well, I mean, if Starr came at me, well, we don't need to go there.
I mean, hey, I get it, but I'm just saying, I've never but that's like something I've never understood. These women who like men that are like super older than them. Like, I already have one dad. I don't need another.
Are you talking about Leonardo DiCaprio? He's my hero.
Oh my gosh. Okay. You are going to
I'm kidding.
No, but you're going to laugh at this because, so my girls had never seen Titanic. And they have a friend who
Good for them. I'm proud of them. Seriously, keep it that way.
Well, okay, so here's what happened. I myself had never watched it because I'm like, the boat's going to sink and I'm not interested in this love story. But their friend had seen it and was like, it's so good, it's so good, it's so good, it's so good. So finally they're like, can we just rent it? And if we don't like it, we'll turn it off. Well, we're watching the opening and we're talking about it. And I said, I think Kate Winslet is prettier now than she was 20 years ago when the movie was made. And my daughter
I don't know about that.
Well, anyway, my oldest daughter goes, well, she's about the age that Leo stops dating people. I know that. So, meaning that she was about 25 and that's as high of an age. Oh, okay. She goes, I mean, that's the age in which he stops his dating people. Like, I was like, that's pretty clever.
Depending on your reaction, this may or may not get cut out.
Okay.
If a young woman, I mean, I'm not going to be that creepy old man that goes, hitting on, like 25-year-olds or whatever.
Yeah.
But if one comes to me, that's a different story. It's on.
Hey, I mean, I totally get it. You got to go with the flow, man. And I mean, my stepmother is only 11 years older than me.
Yeah. So, I just don't, it's just like these people that are like dogging. I mean, look at freaking Bill Belichick and his girlfriend. He's like Lord. 70.
Oh, I know. And I mean, come on. There's no way you think Bill is good looking. He looks like an old man. She
He
likes
looks like a
him.
freaking troll.
Oh, yeah. And he looks like an old man. She's only with him because he's Bill Belichick. Yeah.
Right.
But I
But you
get
know
it.
what?
I
Hey,
mean,
it's legal. More power to him. More,
but
and if
I was going to say they're consenting adults. And if that's what
right,
you want to do your thing, man. It's just always, I mean, I ask my stepmother all the time, why, like, and she was interested in my dad when she was like in her 20s. Like I said, she's closer to my age than she is to him. I'm like,
well,
why?
my
Why?
Vanna's mother is 10 years younger than me. Her mom was only 10 years older than me.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
So
like, it's just to each their own, it makes no difference to me. But that's always been something for me that I'm like, I don't get it. But,
yeah.
whatevs.
All right. So your turn, Jessica.
Okay.
What you got?
So we didn't even plan this, but my next one has a little tie into Manson as well. So,
Oh, by the way, the Manson one was supposed to be on Prison Tinder Part 1.
mm-hmm.
Todd was going to take it, but I wound up covering Sandra London for like 40 minutes.
Yeah.
So that one had to be cut, and Todd didn't really want to take lead anyway. So
Gotcha. So Krista Rochello, are you familiar with her?
Mm-mm.
So she is a former prison psychologist. And and she is convinced that Chris Watts is innocent. Chris Watts from Colorado, who killed his pregnant wife, and his 2 young daughters, smothered them. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
And here's the thing.
That guy.
Yeah.
We covered him, and
okay.
we covered.
I thought so, but I wasn't sure. The thing is, he confessed, but she still thinks he's innocent, even though he confessed. But,
well, let's see. They were found on a freaking oil field or whatever that he was working at.
Yes.
Specifically in a thing, in a tank, in tanks that he had control of.
Yes.
His bow or whatever was like looking up things about how to blow up things and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You're guilty, Chris. You're a douchebag, and you know what?
Well,
she's freaking gorgeous. She's freaking she was a beautiful woman and
right.
a sweet woman. Although she did have a spending problem.
Hey,
what woman doesn't?
Hey.
I'm kidding.
I'm not gonna lie. You know what I'm worst about? The girls come in and go, I need such and such. And I'm like, okay, order it on Amazon. I am terrible. It's not like me spending on me, but I'm terrible about what the girls say. I need such and such for school. Okay, get on Amazon, But
yeah.
Well, and that's the thing. He confessed. He even said he did it. But Krista Rochello, she believes that he is innocent, and she is trying to get him freed from prison. But here's the thing. Chris Watts didn't want to read her letter. So he passed it over to his roommate, his cellmate, Dylan Tallman. And he read her letter. Because, who knows who Dylan Tallman is, right? So he's not getting any mail. So he passes Krista's letter over to Dylan, and he reads it. And then they fall in love, and they're having this weird, love triangle thing where Krista and Chris are writing a book together about Christian scripture because he's such a Christian man. And
so basically, Chris Watts is cucking his cellmate without the cellmates even having any clue that it was going on.
Basically. And then she ended up engaged to Tallman while she's still doing whatever with Chris, but they're all one big happy threesome family, however you want to go with that.
A throuple.
Yes, a throuple. But Chris,
a throuple that never gets to sleep with each other. Well, the 2 guys get to.
Oh, wait. Oh, do you know this?
But the girl doesn't.
Do you know this?
Huh?
Do you know that they got... Okay, so guess what? I'll bring in our Manson connection here in a minute. But Chris and Dylan got separated because they found Vaseline and baby oil and Chris's underwear on the floor of their cell. But they said they would never had any relations whatsoever.
It was Diddy.
It probably was Diddy. It probably was Diddy.
Diddy came and visited him in prison.
He probably did. That's about accurate. But Krista says that they are very close, yes, but close like brothers, not close like lovers. And they would never do that, ever. But guess what? Just not too long ago, Dylan broke off his engagement with Krista. But He and Chris are still very close.
Oh, yeah. Ew.
But Krista says that she thinks because liking men in prison is in her blood. Because her mother thought Charles Manson was sexy. And she was on her way to join his cult when she met Krista's father. And because Krista's father looked so much like Charles Manson, they got together and got married. But Krista's father was also a criminal, so she went once a week to visit her daddy in jail. So she's just got that in her blood to love men who are in prison.
This seems like a perfect place to bring back somebody that hasn't been on the podcast in a while. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, Dick Darwin, Dallas Detective.
Oh, I can't wait to hear what he has to say on this.
One.
Hello, everybody. Dick Darwin here, Dallas Detective. Tonight, we're talking about Prison Tinder. Now, I only know about Tinder being used to build a fire or as currency. But Bill tells me that Tinder is a dating app. And
It's kind of
I don't know what that means personally, but I guess I can see it, though. Maybe, based on what he told me, especially in prison. I mean, it can be fire in prison when these inmates, they get to feeling a little bit frisky, you know what I mean? And I've heard that the inmate relations can be used as currency as well in prison.
Oh, we do.
Now,
we do.
I don't know anything about that personally because I'm not a prison guard, you see? Personally, if I were ever in prison, I'd just wait until I got out and got home to my beautiful wife, Medea. But that's just me. But I guess you gotta do what you gotta do, am I right? But let me get this straight, CKCB. You're telling me that people actually search out these criminals who are in prison for doing horrible things and marry them? What the hell do these people think is gonna be the final outcome of that? I mean, if a murderer gets out somehow, he's probably gonna kill you. And these women that date rapists too? That's like French kissing a western diamondback rattlesnake, getting bit, and saying it was just a flesh wound. And he wasn't all that bad. He was a good guy. Anyway, I don't know what to say about all of this. Is it possible for these people to find love with a normal person? Is it possible that they'll live happily ever after? That's not for me to decide. And it's definitely not for me personally. But in closing, I just want to say thank you for having me once again on your show. Dick Darwin, Dallas Detective, signing off.
Thanks, Dick.
I think Dick was very insightful. And no, I don't think a normal person loves them.
I saw you flip. I saw you like crack up when he was talking about kissing the western diamondback rattlesnake.
so good. Okay, and he talked about people getting out and getting murdered. I can't remember now who these two women were, but when I was looking up my Prison Tinder stuff, there were two women that the guys that they hooked up with in prison managed, they were in for murder and they got parole, as that happens sometimes. And guess what? They were, yes, they got murdered by their loved ones that got out of prison. So there you go. So Dick is spot on.
Thanks, Dick.
Dick knows what's up. That was not intentional, but you know what? Leave it anyway. That was not intentional, but you know, hey, it is what it is.
That's one of the better Dick Darwin segments, I think.
Hey, that was good.
Yeah, but he told me that he wanted to do something different. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. Yeah, that was one of his better segments, I think.
Spot on, yes.
So, it's my turn, right?
Yes.
Okay. Next up, I have Lynn Hartman. She dated convicted murderer Stephen Avery, who is the subject of Netflix's bullshit documentary Making a Murderer, which to this day I still have not seen.
I haven't either. I have no interest in watching it because I feel like it's made up for views.
And although Necronomipod is doing a multi-part episode on Avery, which I have been listening to that, so I'll listen to that. They're telling what really happened.
Okay, so I will listen to them do that. So what do you think so far?
I've only listened to the first 2 episodes. I think they've released 4. I haven't, but no, it's
Gotcha.
I like it. I mean, they're doing a good job on it, but they do a good job on everything.
Right. That's why I said I'll listen to them because it'll be just facts. It won't be playing for sympathy for dipshit.
It'll be facts and Mike being a wannabe misogynist.
Yeah.
It works for them, though. They're bigger than mine.
I mean, that's for sure. They're very well known. So there you go. Whatever works.
Yeah. I don't believe a third of what he says is about his conquests.
No. I think a lot of that's for air purposes.
Yeah. I won't say that. Part 1 of Making a Murderer introduced us to several of Avery's girlfriends, including former fiancée, now good friend, Sandra Greenman. But in the 3-year gap between the 2 seasons, his love life had played out in the tabloids. And after splitting from Sandra, Stephen began dating Lynn Hartman, who was previously married to a police officer, before she began writing to Avery in prison with to offer some kind of support. Basically, she logged on to Prison Tinder.
It's 100% what she did. It is so weird to me. Like, what makes you go, what happened to you in life that makes you go, I want to write to this person? I mean, because there are men who do this as well. It's more, widely known about women writing to men, but there are men who do it too. But what makes you go, that is the person for me? This person who murdered, raped, did terrible things to him, they are going to be the person for me. And I'm going to write them a letter and tell them that I like them. I don't get it.
I mean, you brought up men who do it. I mean, look at all the men who drool over Jodi Arias.
Oh, I know. I mean,
I'm one of them. But I haven't written to her.
Well, and she is an attractive woman, but you might also end up in your bed. So, like, I guess you feel a level of safety when she's locked up behind bars.
But
I don't know.
I've never written to her. I mean,
yeah, right. You didn't take the next step.
Right. But I could change her.
Yeah, you can. She needs the love of a good man. That's all it is.
Yeah, that's all she needs.
That's right. That's all Stephen Avery needs. He just needs someone to understand him.
I'm not a Mormon, so I got that going for me. I
There you
think she's
go.
probably done with Mormons.
I think so too, for sure. Unless she has a type.
True. But then, I mean, well, the most recent and probably the most famous case of Prison Tinder was Gypsy Rose Blanchard.
Dude, okay. And I'm just going to be real ugly. She's not even attractive. Like, what in the heck is going on with that? I mean,
Well, the first person that she married looked like Peter Griffin.
well, that's true. Yeah.
Oh, and those social media posts they were doing to each other are just cringe.
Oh, I was going to say, you know what, though? I do feel very sorry for Gypsy. And talking about those social media posts, you can tell how socially stunted
Awkward.
she is and
Yeah.
awkward. Yes, from being isolated all those years and made to think she was dying and everything, because they sound like a girl, like a preteen girl who has a crush on somebody. They don't
Yeah.
sound like a woman. You know what I mean? They are like, she's so socially stunted. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then I would feel like I would be cringe. I would read them and be cringy, but also, you know, like secondhand embarrassment, you know, like, don't do that anymore, please.
Yeah. Fucking Gypsy, man.
I know.
And I agree with what she did.
I do
mean,
too. These
but-
people, yeah, these people that are all like, feel sorry for her mom. Really? Come
Yeah.
on. Did you read anything that woman did to her? I mean, come on.
Oh, I know.
I don't even get it.
Yeah,
Why
she's
people defend that woman.
Yeah, I mean, it's two different types of torture. You've got what Mama Blanchard did,
Mm-hmm.
and then you compare that to what Gertrude Baniszewski did, and it's just like, which one's worse?
Well, right. I mean, that's the thing.
Well, obviously Gertrude is because the girl died,
True.
but still,
True.
Gypsy would have died.
I was going to say, if she hadn't all of a sudden decided she was done with this and made her plot, she would have ended up dead as well. That's the thing. It's just...
It was basically a her or me situation.
100%. They were not leaving that house. Or she hadn't... Or Mama didn't plan for Gypsy to leave that house.
No,
Yeah.
she would have killed Gypsy.
She would, and then she would have ridden that pony for, oh, I'm so sad because my daughter I loved and I nursed for forever and now I've lost her. Oh, then she'd have ridden that pony as far as she could. 100%.
I don't know. I think a good autopsy would have told the story.
Well, maybe, but I guess that's what I mean by she'd have ridden that pony until somebody caught her. You know what I mean?
She would have wound up in prison.
She would have
I
eventually.
think. Yeah.
I think so, probably eventually. But that's just, oh my word, it's bizarre. I don't know. Anyway.
But after splitting from Sandra, Stephen began dating Lynn Hartman, who was previously married to a police officer, before she began writing to Avery in prison, offering some kind of support. I already said that. And she explained her brief, she explained that during her brief appearance in part 2. I wanted to be part of it. Avery acknowledged all of the attention that he was receiving from the female fans when talking about his relationship with Hartman. He's like, when you're involved with me, you get a lot of attention, all this other stuff. I asked her about that sometime. I just tell her, don't worry about what everybody's saying on the internet, baby. It's just the internet.
yeah, they're just trying to frame me.
Somebody from the Daily Mail tagged him as the strangest sex symbol.
That's the understatement of the decade. Good Lord.
Literally, because he was short. Avery's shorter than Pee Wee Gaskins.
That's a feat in and of itself. And at least Pee Wee had some flair. I mean,
Yeah.
Steven just looks like, like here I am. Like, I don't know.
I'm Pee Wee. Pee Wee was like 5'3" or 5'4", but Stephen Avery is 5'1".
I mean, he's got little man syndrome. Let's just put it out there. I mean, come on. We know Pee Wee did. We know Pee Wee did. I'm pretty sure so does Steven.
Yeah.
Anyway.
The couple got engaged before their first in-person encounter, and Hartman soon appeared on Dr. Phil to discuss their relationship with Avery. Avery even called in to surprise Hartman, which Avery later called was a setup. Just like everything with him. Everything's a setup with Steven.
He just, the world's out to get him. I mean, that's all there is to it.
Well, there was a situation where he did like 18 years in prison for a rape that he did not commit.
And that is true. That is true. I will.
Right.
That is true. But I just.
But lightning doesn't strike twice. You killed that woman.
I was gonna say, but that's the difference. Come on.
Yeah, and that's 100% fact. He did not rape that woman.
Yes, and that is true. That is true. But I mean, then maybe I don't know. He did, but the rest of it.
Yeah. A few days after they filmed the episode, the couple's engagement abruptly ended with Hartman sending the breakup. No, the dear Stephen letter to the media, along with posing in the wedding dress that she had bought in a televised interview.
Oh, well, that's just very tasteful.
A little creepy.
Yeah.
During the interview with Inside Edition, she said she feared for her life.
Because why? I mean, nobody else. I don't know. I shouldn't say nobody else wants Steven. Apparently he gets lots of fan mail. I don't understand it, but did she think there was another lady that was going to kill her to get married to Steven?
Maybe.
Some competition out there? I don't know.
I killed her for you, Steven. Do you love me, Steven? I love you, Steven.
He's like, no, I'm done. I'm over this. You know it's bad when you get dumped by the inmate. So.
In a Facebook post by his former girlfriend, Avery called Hartman a gold digger and claimed that she was only with him to make money from appearances. And you know what? So what?
Right? I mean, maybe if he was smart enough, she might could have gotten the money and then sent him some in prison because he can't receive any, right?
No, the Gacy law.
That's what I thought. Like that applies to him as well. So if he was smart, he could have married her and then she could have collected the money and then she could have, filled his account so he could buy whatever he needs. I don't know. Cigarettes, baby oil.
Preparation H.
Yeah.
Oh God. Avery still swears he's innocent and he's milking his fame for everything that it's worth, which isn't much. And I assume because I think the money from his documentary would fall under the restrictions of the Gacy Act, like we were just saying, where people can't make money from their crimes.
Yeah.
So definitely, check out Necronomicon for their, I think they're doing 5 parts.
Yeah, I'm going to have to listen because, like I said, I would rather hear theirs than Netflix's very slanted viewpoint.
Yeah. Once again, what you got, Jessica?
Okay, so I have, for my last one, I have the Menendez Brothers. Let me put on my reading glasses here so I can see what I'm looking at. But so both Menendez brothers have found love in prison. And Lyle, he's busy. He's been married twice since he's been in prison.
How the hell do you get married twice in prison?
I know. 2 people wanted to marry Lyle while he was in prison. So the first woman that Lyle married is a woman named Anna Erickson. And Anna was an actual model. And
Anna, why didn't you appear?
And so she actually saw Lyle on the TV and was drawn to him by seeing him on the TV. And they wrote letters and kept in touch. Anna even moved to California so she could be closer to the prison where Lyle was. Does that sound familiar? And
Yeah.
a la Star. But in 1995, so I'm sorry, let me back up a second. So they were married, but they did not get to like have a wedding in person. You know, some prisons, and depending on what you're convicted on, you get to get married in person. Others you do not, because it depends if you're live, if you're
like those ridiculous air hugs that people were giving to each other during COVID.
Yes.
Come here.
Yeah. So
God.
they married by phone. And supposedly, you know, they had a wonderful marriage. However you have a marriage when you can't really see a person. But in 2001,
so it was just a typical online relationship.
It was. I mean, it was basically a Tinder relationship. Yeah. Because in person, not in prison. Yes, in prison. Sorry, not in person. In prison.
Two.
So, that's right. Tinder 2. So they married in 96, but in 2001, Anna got very upset and filed for divorce because she felt like Lyle was cheating on her because he was writing intimate letters to other women. And that was not okay. So she divorced him. And now no one knows where Anna went. I'm sure she died of embarrassment that she even thought it would be a good idea to marry Lyle Menendez. But
she disappeared.
She did. She did. I could not find, and it says that they don't know what she's up to now. You can't, I looked on the internet, but it kept coming up. We don't know what she's up to now. So then Lyle got him a second wife, and her name is Rebecca Sneed. Now, he and Rebecca, they got married, let's see, in I think 2003. Yeah, in 2003. And they had a ceremony at Mule Creek State Prison near Sacramento. That's where Lyle is being held. Now, he says that their interaction tends to be very free of distractions and that they probably have a much more intimate conversation than most married couples do because they're not distracted by life events. Right. You don't have a life, Lyle. There are no events. There are none except what was served in the cafeteria that day. And it's probably the same thing. But he says they talk several times a day. And Rebecca is very involved. Rebecca's a lawyer. So this is a woman who's educated. That's what kills me. So much of these women that are attracted to these men in prison, they're not poor, uneducated women. They're women who should know better.
This is giving off Oscar Ray Bolin vibes.
Yes.
And we covered him. Natasha covered him on the first Prison Tinder episode. Yeah, that was a wild one. We still have yet to cover Bolin.
Oh, that's a whole nother. But yeah, that woman ran off and left her whole family. That's ridiculous. But Rebecca is full steam ahead trying to get Lyle released. And that leads us to Eric. Now, he has been married a long time. He's a much better prison husband than Lyle. He's married to a woman named Tammy Sockman, but she also is kind of like the whole Oscar Bowman thing because Tammy was already married when she saw Eric on TV during the trial. And she was married to a man named Chuck. And she told Chuck, she was like,
"Sorry, Chuck."
She said, "Oh no, it gets better. It gets better." So she told her husband, "I just feel for him and I have a connection to him and I feel like I need to write letters to him." So she's married to good old Chuck. She and Chuck have a daughter together and she begins writing to Eric. And and Eric said that she just seemed like such a caring person, and he got a feeling from her letter and he set hers aside because even though he was getting so many letters from other women, when he read Tammy's letter, there was just a feeling about her. And so then Tammy wrote back and it was a slow friendship. It grew over time. And Eric just said that Tammy was someone that he could talk to during all of the craziness. Well, then guess what? Poor Chuck died. And that's when things escalated.
Yeah, at least he didn't leave. She didn't leave him for Mr. Menendez.
Well, I guess that's true, but I don't know, because here's the thing. Then they had never seen each other in person. I mean, she knows what Eric looks like, but Eric doesn't know what she looks like. And so they met the first time in Folsom State Prison.
Heard there was a guy there who shot a man in Reno just to watch him die.
That's right. And you know what? He knew he had it coming, but Eric had no idea. And then when she stepped into the visitor's room, she said it was like meeting an old friend. They instantly connected. They knew who each other were right away. Now, they married in 99, and Tammy also is very much trying to get Eric freed as well. But Tammy's daughter has now taken Eric's last name and calls him her dad and says that it's awful. She says that she thinks her father deserves to be free and it's not fair for such a good person to be in prison. So I don't know which is worse. Maybe if Chuck Kidd stayed alive, his daughter wouldn't have been sucked into all this mess as well. And so now she goes to visit Eric in prison regularly with her crazy mother.
That's horrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I'm assuming that daughter's an adult.
She is now at this point, but I think when the father died, if I'm remembering correctly, she was young enough to be brainwashed basically into thinking that, this was a good move. So,
do you have more?
Well, she just so the daughter, her name's Talia, she posted on Instagram and said, I firmly believe my father deserves to come home now. And I'm holding on to hope that the resentencing judge will agree when making the resentencing decision. So, I mean, she's even been on Instagram to root for Eric's release as well as her mother.
If these people, I mean, because there is a very good chance that the Menendez brothers are going to be released.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if these two women were, took that into consideration about the fact that their efforts might actually wind up paying off, and now they're like,
Yeah. Well, I cannot remember. There are two women when I was looking up who I wanted to talk about for our episode, and I cannot remember the two women's names, and I can't remember who they got involved with. But the two men, they were both convicted of murder, but they got paroled. You know how it is in some states. You serve so many years and then they let you out. I mean, Texas is just as bad. Well, guess what? They got their wish and their prison husbands got released. And then those two women got dead because their loving husbands killed them. But I mean, duh.
Yeah.
Duh.
I mean, yeah. Now we're already starting to see people cheating on their spouses with AI.
Oh, that is.
That's so stupid. I mean,
it is stupid.
You're not
going
to
get.
I don't care how convincing AI is. It's never going to get me. It will never get an emotional response out of me.
Well, no,
like,
it's just
even if I was going to start, relationship chatting, or whatever. I don't know. I have. You might as well. You might as well just fall for a freaking movie character.
Well, or get you a blow-up doll. I mean, and
yeah,
provide words for it. And provide words for it. Get a script.
But they, okay, this is why a lot of online relationships don't, when they become in person, they don't last. It's like, because, okay, there was that scene in the South Park episode where everybody lost their internet.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's Stan's older sister. She had this online relationship with a guy. and then they actually met in person and they didn't know what to say to each other.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you laugh at that, but it kind of happens that way because you've spilled every aspect of your life to this person. And now and when you do finally meet in person, there's nothing left to discover, you know?
Right. Well, or also you cultivated this very specific persona for yourself.
Right.
Online that you can keep contained because
I've been catfished before.
I mean, you can, so like, you know, you've cultivated this very specific persona that you can keep very contained because it's all online. And then if you do meet in person, then it all falls apart because then you can't keep that up. It's not doable anymore. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I don't know. But Lyle and Eric's wives, in the pursuit of trying to get their husbands released from prison, moved in together for a while and lived together. Yes. But then they figured out that they didn't like each other very much. And even though they love the brothers and they want them free, they don't really like each other. So they didn't want to live together anymore. So.
Oh, God.
Yeah. But I wonder how that's going to go. Because if everybody gets released, y'all going to be spending time together.
I mean, I don't know. Online relationships, Prison Tinder. I mean, they don't make any sense to me whatsoever. I mean, I don't, I'm not going to, I don't want to sit there and just chat with somebody that, I like to touch, well, I like to cuddle.
Yeah. I mean, what could you possibly have besides the whole like being in person with somebody? What could you possibly have to talk about when you don't even get to leave your four walls? What kind of deep, meaningful conversation? What do you really have to talk about anymore? Do you know what I mean? Like,
baby, guess what happened today? A roach crawled across the floor. Oh, that's great, honey.
Right. I mean, that's my other thing. We have
my God, we had fried bologna sandwiches today.
Right. It was great. That's what I don't understand. Because, like, Lyle's like, we have deep, meaningful conversations. We talk 3 to 4 times a day. What the hell are you even talking about? Come on. Like, what?
Yeah. But like I said, when they do meet in person, they already know each other's life stories front and backwards.
Yeah. There's nothing else. I don't know. Yeah. Well, and like I said, it's been in such a little vacuum that I don't know how you can sustain it once everything else comes into play.
Right.
When someone does forget to take the trash out, or you don't pay the electricity bill, or someone has a bad day at work and you come home all grouchy because you can't stop and contain yourself for your phone call, like, I mean, I know that there are times I come home and I'm less pleasant than
you.
Yeah.
You're such a sweetheart, Jessica.
Yeah, I don't know about all that. And I'll be the first to admit it.
Oh man. That brings up another part of this. It's like if you if all you know is the good things that you're telling each other back and forth on the phone or on online or whatever, what happens when you do move in together and like you come home in a shitty mood one day, all of a sudden, your mate is like, who is this person? And so now it's my turn again.
Yes.
The grand weird finale.
This one is extra. There's no doubt about it.
It's a lot more high profile on here than there was in part 1, but this is a lower profile one, but it's every bit as crazy as some of these other stories.
Oh, it might be more than all the others, truthfully.
Yeah. We're going across the pond to Great Britain, and we're going to introduce you to Stephanie Smith-White and British crime boss Curtis Warren. He was a man who ran a drug empire behind the scenes, behind a legitimate business that he owned. He was even featured on a Sunday Rich List segment in the London newspaper.
Ooh. He's a famous.
Lifestyles of the rich and famous. Shut up. I don't care about lifestyles of the rich and famous.
Well, maybe more lifestyles of the rich and incarcerated.
Yeah. Stephanie Smith White, she was 40 at the time. She worked at the maximum security Her Majesty's Prison Franklin near Durham, where Warren, known on the inside as Cocky, and was in prison. And Smith White denied that a hole cut in the trousers of her prison uniform were put there to facilitate sex acts, but the sentencing judge said it was hard to imagine why else it was there.
I'm going to go with the judge. Why else would you have those strategically placed in that? Ventilation.
It's like, okay, if that's not what it's
I was waiting for
if it's for ventilation, then she's got bigger problems.
I couldn't help it.
Damn, Jessica. Oh, man.
I just couldn't help it. Hey.
Oh, God. I don't even know what I was going to say. You just totally derailed me.
Oh, no.
No, I guarantee you what you said was funnier than what I was going to say.
So
Snow White, Smith White, and Warren kissed and had oral sex in his cell, in the kitchen, in the laundry room, and other places in this jail, which houses some of the country's most dangerous criminals.
Wow.
How do you have sex in a prison cell? I mean, the doors are kind of open. There's like no privacy. Now, and I guess when it's two men, I guess it's just goes with the territory. But you would think that you would be able to see if a inmate had a female security guard in there with him.
Well, right. Because I was going to say, even for men, I could also see where you would just wait till lights out. And so then at least it's dark. And, I feel like then it's like, don't ask, don't tell. Like, you do what you do in the dark and we'll do what we do in the dark. But it's going to be pretty obvious that a woman is in the cell with a man. But I also find that really interesting that they employ women in the men's prison. Right. But yeah, I think it'd be pretty obvious. Why does he have his own personal woman prison guard that's going places with him all the time with her strategically cut holes in her uniform? Like, what, man?
The ventilation shaft.
Exactly. Man.
For some reason, the scene where they blew up the first Death Star just popped into my head.
I mean,
negative. It didn't go in.
Mm-hmm.
The next one did.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Oh, I feel like there's probably some trial and error there as well. Like, maybe that's why there were so many times in so many places they were like trying to get it just right.
Yeah, as romantic as you could possibly get in a maximum security prison.
Yeah, maybe so. Oh no.
She also sent a photo of herself wearing a cat suit. And in court, he admitted two counts, or she admitted 2 counts of sexual misconduct in a public office. One charge related to their sexual relationship, said to have lasted between June and December of 2018. And the second related to her failure to report that she knew that Warren had access to a phone. Well, because who do you think gave him the phone?
I was saying, I'm going to guess it came from her. Why would she rat her own self out?
Right.
Wow.
He's got a phone. Where'd you get it?
I don't know.
Timu.
Yeah.
Was Timu a thing in 2018? No, not yet.
I don't know.
That would have been the Wish app in 2018.
Yes.
Yeah. The judge, Jonathan Carroll, said that 56-year-old Warren from Liverpool was a major league offender who tried to manipulate Smith White into bringing contraband into the prison, and asked about prison intelligence and security cameras.
I don't think so.
I buy that. I buy that. Seriously.
Really? I don't know. Like, she's like cutting strategic holes in her uniform and everything else. I'm thinking she's like on board for whatever happens.
Well, at first,
okay,
he manipulated her, got her into her head, but I don't think that she was ever anything to him other than a tool.
Oh, okay.
A tool that he could play with from time to time.
Yeah, okay, that's probably fair. Yeah, he manipulated her. I mean, if you're good, people like that are good at spotting their marks. So yeah, I'll go with that. He knew she was open to helping him out in more ways than one.
She was easy like Sunday morning. Yeah. And Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
All the times.
Smith White was infatuated with Warren, as demonstrated by her tattoo of the name Curtis next to a rose.
Oh.
The judge said, "Your conduct represents the very most grave breach of trust placed in you." Warren was believed to have continued to run his criminal enterprises from behind bars using mobile phones, but Smith White did not report that he had used a phone to contact her. Investigators found that they had called each other 213 times in just 3 months, despite Smith White having undergone training about manipulative and corrupt, God damn it. Manipulative and corrupting inmates.
Wow, 213 times.
Yeah.
That's a lot of talking.
Yeah. I don't even have 213 episodes, and my show's been around for 3.5 years.
I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I guess so. You're sitting around in your cell, and if she's not at work, what else you got to do?
Yeah. Warren was also known to have had relationships with other prison staff. The prosecutor said that Warren was serving 13 years for conspiracy to import drugs, Warren. Damn it. Warren was serving 13 years for conspiracy to import drugs and a further 10 for failing to pay back his 198 million pounds of his criminal profits. He was previously convicted of manslaughter after a fight with another inmate in a Dutch jail. And the judge said that Warren was basically highly dangerous to the public. When Franklin's staff became suspicious of Smith White's relationship with Warren, a surveillance operation was mounted.
Mm-hmm.
just like Smith White.
Yeah. That one was too easy.
Yeah. When the Franklin staff became suspicious of Smith White's relationship with Warren, a surveillance I already said that. Oh, yeah. Mounted.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. But one of the things that they found in evidence after the surveillance was them passing notes back and forth together. And Warren tried to, Warren even tried to eat the note when the officers went to retrieve it from him. And the notes were found to be highly sexualized, and Smith White initially denied having a physical relationship with Warren. But police searched her home and found more notes and a copy of his autobiography. He's got an autobiography?
What? Well, I guess he's got time in prison.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm sure it's probably better written than BTK's.
Probably.
They searched the business of one of her relatives and discovered 450 letters, many of which contained sexual fantasy. I don't think I've written 450 letters in my life.
I know I haven't. I know I haven't. And I mean, like, I grew up in a time of no cell phones and you had to pass notes in class. But even then, holy cow. No, I know I haven't. And I went to summer camp every year.
But they also found a white Samsung phone in her car that was only used to ring one number, and that number was traced to Franklin Prison and to Warren.
Oh, imagine that. Surprise, surprise.
They should have been watching Breaking Bad. They show you what to do with burner phones.
Probably weren't allowed to watch that in the prison.
Probably not. In interviews with detectives, Smith-White said that it was said to be devastated, but hoped that there was an outside chance that their relationship could continue.
Oh.
Smith-White's attorney said that his client had made a catastrophic error of judgment. He said, "This is a woman who has fallen in love with the wrong person."
You think?
Yeah. And the DA said those who choose to act dishonestly in a position of trust should not be allowed to tarnish the reputation of honest, hardworking staff who carry out their duties within the law. We hope that this result shows that we will take action against those people who believe that they are above the law and engage in corrupt activity, and we will bring them to justice. And that sounded like it came straight from a Steven Seagal movie.
Yeah, it did.
Above the law.
Above the law. Oh my gosh. But also, maybe don't put women guards in with the men. I just feel like you're asking for trouble.
Yeah.
And I'm not, and hey, I am not anti-woman by any means. So no one send me some
hope
dirty
not.
email. I just mean that don't send me some dirty email and say that I'm against women in jobs. I just mean that it cuts down on the likelihood.
You got these men who haven't seen a woman in years, and you're going to send a woman in to be around them?
Right. That's what I mean. It's just going to cut down on the likelihood because they're like, woohoo, It
also makes non-consensual situations possible to happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
So, but what a romantic tale.
That warmed my heart.
Yeah.
Hallmark.
Anyway.
It's a Hallmark-worthy moment.
Yeah, prison Hallmark.
Prison Hallmark. Prison Tinder, Prison Hallmark. It could be a whole new fad.
Yeah. I need to trademark Prison Tinder.
You should. You should.
But anyway, I got nothing else. Do you?
Nope. The Menendez Brothers were my last.
Okay, so that wraps up Prison Tinder 2, and we hope y'all enjoyed it.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we had fun doing this. And thanks to Jessica for coming on. So if you like us, tell a friend. If you hate us, tell an enemy. And be sure to check out Texas True Crime. And until next week, later.
All right, bye.